Hey there, this is Seth Juarez from Channel 9, and we're streaming live the PyData conference here in Redmond, hosted by Microsoft here in Building 33. For those that are watching, why don't you tell us a little bit about what this is?
Yeah, so PyData is a conference for, it came mostly off of Python developers originally, and it's branching out for all sort of areas of data science now. So we're bringing in R, there's going to be a few R sessions today.
Okay.
Julia's a big deal, but it's a place for practitioners to get together, chat about what they're working on in data science, new advances, new tools, new techniques, sort of post-mortems are something that we've been really keen to get a few of into this conference, and really just network a bit, get to know what people are doing in the field and what they're working on.
So Python is an interesting thing. I used Python when I was doing research a long time ago, and the thing about Python, it was really easy to get started and get used, but I'm sure things have changed a lot. Why is Python coming to the forefront nowadays?
So the two big languages in this kind of area, Python and R. R's always been right up there because it's got just a huge breadth of statistical libraries, and all the machine learning algorithms are just there ready to use. And Python's really coming up because the same thing's been happening there. There's a vast quantity of people, many of whom are at this conference, who have invested a huge amount of time and energy into building the libraries, things like NumPy, Pandas, SciPy, scikit-learn, to enable all of that functionality from Python as well. And as you say, it's a really easy language to get into. That doesn't go away with the more complex libraries.
Sure.
You can dive in and very quickly get something going. We've seen a number of sessions already, and we'll see more today, of people going from zero to genuine insights driven by machine learning or big amounts of data to get there really quickly using Python.
So you're saying that in the space of data science and machine learning, Python has really sort of revolutionized a lot of the things that we do.
Revolutionize might be a bit strong, but it's certainly made it far more accessible to a much broader community of people. Python's one of these languages that we see people who never trained in computer science, never trained in software engineering, picking it up and achieving whatever their goals are, business goals, academic goals, research goals. We saw a survey taken recently from, I forget which university it was, that had which departments are using Python for statistical analysis, and it was literally every department in the university, up to and including the linguistics department, chemistry department, biology department. They're all doing this kind of work, and Python's enabling them and giving them access to be able to do it without having to invest in the really expensive tools, the really complex tools, without having to reinvent the wheel over and over again. It's really an enabler for so many people to allow them to use these tools.
So we've talked a little bit about Python in general. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening today. The conference started yesterday, and it's going to be happening today and tomorrow as well for the live stream. Why don't you talk a little bit about what happened yesterday, and then we'll get into the schedule, and hopefully my producer will put my clock back so I can see what time it is.
Yeah, so it's a 3-day conference. The first day is traditionally tutorials. So people will come in, spend kind of 2.5 hours in a session, and really just be led through and work along with the instructor.
Okay.
There's a lot of materials, a lot of Jupyter notebooks yesterday for people to work through and come away with an actual class worth of knowledge and the ability to do stuff later on. So we had sessions on time series analysis, we had sessions on natural language processing, which is one that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I dropped in on that one, and it's like word clouds everywhere, n-grams, like
nice.
bigrams, trigrams, and
Brings me back to my old days of the uni.
yeah, but that and so many sessions like that, just to give people a good grounding in a lot of the stuff that's going to be brought up in the talk sessions, which are today and tomorrow.
I see. So why don't you give us a little overview of what people are going to be seeing, because obviously we can't stream all the talks. It feels like there's a lot of tracks, but why don't you talk a little bit about what we will be seeing? I think you have a list right there.
Yeah, I have my list handy in case I need to refer to it.
Yeah.
But it is an incredible schedule. We're really excited about the range of talks that we have this year. We have 4 tracks going. So yeah, if you're on the live stream, you'll get to see track 1. If you want to refer to the online schedule, everyone else who's here has the option of 3 other tracks as well. They're all incredibly good looking tracks. For track 1, we've tried to select some that are going to give like a nice broad overview for people who are watching, try and encourage you to make it next time we put on one of these events. But there's going to be a big range. There'll be some really technical stuff. We have a talk on extending pandas to actually inject your own custom code into some of the pipelines and really take control of how it works and applies to things. All the way through to, we have a session that I'm really looking forward to about chatbots, which are a big up and coming thing. We've got, Microsoft has the bot framework. Every other company seems to be putting out their chatbots online at this point. And so we have a session towards the end of the day that will be on the stream talking about the past, the present, and the future of chatbots, where they've come from, how they've come up, and where it's going to go. So we're going to hit the full range in this track, especially of the futuristic stuff, the futurist work, the I don't know any of this, but I'm really interested in the area.
Yeah.
All the way through to I'm a real expert in Python and data analysis, and give me some real, deep, intense stuff to dig my teeth into.
That's awesome. So we are actually streaming the main room, the big room, and so we have some of those talks, and looks like we're going to talk a lot about how you can use Python to actually do chatbots, to do tons of machine learning, data, stuff.
And it's not just Python. We'll have a couple of sessions in here that are including R as well.
Awesome.
There's going to be Spark will be covered. Some of the big frameworks are going to get a showing, so there's definitely going to be something for everyone here. And as well, all the keynotes are going to be in this room as well. So if you're watching on the live stream, then you'll get to see all of the keynotes. We have some excellent ones coming up. We have Katrina Rail this morning, Jake Vanderplas, who people may remember if they attended PyCon or followed that. He keynoted there as well.
Awesome.
So we have top quality keynote speakers that will be live streaming straight to you today.
Awesome. So we have about 3 minutes. Why don't you tell everyone who's watching how they can participate?
So yeah, traditionally with conferences like this, you have the opportunity to ask questions of the speaker at the end. We're doing that a little differently for this room because you're on the live stream. We want you to participate, we want you to be involved, and so we're actually not going to let people in the room ask questions at all. We're going to make everyone tweet them in. So if you want to ask a question at any point during the session as you're watching, you can tweet at PyData Seattle, that's all one word, PyData Seattle. And our session chairs are going to be keeping an eye on those tweets. All the good questions that come in, they'll get up on stage at the end and chat with the speaker a bit more. Ask some of those questions so you don't have to be left out just because you didn't make it into the room. You can ask questions and you're on exactly the same level as everyone here.
That's awesome. So the people inside of the room are asking the questions using at PyData Seattle, just like someone that might be watching live stream.
Just like someone on the live stream. We won't even know when we're looking at the questions that have been asked. We don't know if they're yours or someone here. All questions are on the one level, and we're going to ask the ones that are going to make the most interesting session.
So how many PyData Seattle have there been?
So this is the second PyData Seattle,
Okay.
but PyData's a much bigger conference than that. There have been up to 20 PyData events each year. They don't all come under the same name. So if you visit pydata.org, which is the overarching website, you'll be able to see a list of events that have happened recently, that are upcoming all around the world. I think last year we had 20 events put on by the organization behind it, which you'll hear some more about later this morning as well.
Cool.
And there's just a huge range of events, local events, global events. We have 1,000 people registered for this event. This is the largest PyData I think we've ever had in the entire history.
1,000 people.
1,000 people
That's
registered
amazing.
to attend this event. So it's been busy, it's been crazy. We've already had to go out and order more food for it.
Nice.
It's really exciting, and really glad that you could join us today.
Awesome. So in the last 60 seconds, why don't you remind people if they have questions, how to submit them, and then also any other ways they might be able to participate.
Yeah, so if you have questions, at PyData Seattle on Twitter is the way to send them in. That's what we'll be keeping an eye on during the sessions. If you have a question for the speaker after the session, then you'll have to try and find their contact information through the website if you want to reach them some other way. But during the session at PyData Seattle, and one other thing I didn't mention, we have interviews going. So during the breaks,
that's right.
when everyone in the room goes off to get lunch, we're going to have more interviews here. Seth is going to be back with some interesting people to speak to. It won't be me, I'll be back later in the day, but we've got more interesting people for interviews later on. Just to tell you some more about this community, the projects that we work on, the people that are involved. So that's definitely worth sticking around for.
Well, that's awesome. We have about 20 seconds until they're supposed to go live. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave you again with the call to action. If you have questions, at PyData Seattle, and they will answer them just like every other question in the room, so make sure you stay tuned. We will see you in about 5 seconds when the keynote should start.